Okay, so welcome to Wizbango. This is where I am trying to code a game from scratch in C on Windows, but I actually have no idea what I am doing and I don't know anything about coding, so I decided it might be cool to say what I have learned each day of what I'm doing. So currently I'm going to explain Microsoft Visual Studio and how to get it, how to run it, make a file, like all the basic stuff. So first, gotta search for it, Microsoft Visual Studio, and it's pretty easy to find, and the one that you want is this purple one right here, and you want the community version because that is the free one, and that's, well, for me at least, that took quite a while to install. So if you want to actually follow along, maybe pause this and go figure that out. And so now I'm gonna open it. And I'm going to show you how to create a file so you can do stuff. And this is where you're gonna write your stuff. So here we're gonna do create a new project. There we go. Oh, and when you install this thing, it's going to ask you a bunch of questions like what are you going to use it for, so it can make these templates, and those don't matter a whole lot. Just make sure you're getting something with C and C++, because all we're going to do is empty project. So empty project, there we go. Next, and you can name it whatever you want. That really doesn't matter, just remember what you have named it, because if you're going to continue off of that, then you're going to have to find it, and if you forget what it's called, that's going to be annoying. Create. Takes a while to load for me. You can also name the solution. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Okay, here we go. So this is, well, I'm not going to explain that. This is Solution Explorer. It was not over on this side when I first set this up. It was like over here on the right side, but I didn't want it over there, so I just dragged it over here. And so anyway, this is the solution, which is like the main bit where these other parts are inside of it. And so inside solution is the project, and inside project is the files. And so far we don't have any files that we can actually write in yet. So to make that, you need to right click on here and push add under, this is under source files, add new item, and you want to make sure it's CPP, and you can name that whatever. It's going to be under the project name, which is going to be under the solution name. So if you're trying to find it in your files, that's what it's going to be under. I'm not going to give it any fancy name or anything. And now you have this window here that you can write stuff in. And so I'm going to show right now how to write some actual stuff that you can do things with. And so the first thing is hashtag include, and so that is how you're gonna get the commands. That's what defines the commands. So what we're gonna put in there is windows.h, because if you can open this, because this is a file, and you can open this. Come on. Well, it's loading now. I don't know what oh. Anyway, so you right click on that and it might mess up like that, but hopefully we'll go back. And so what you can do is go to document, and it will open this new tab here. It's got all this stuff in it. And so this, you can see here, this is what defines all the stuff to let you write things in what you're doing here. So now I'm going to show you, and you can if you run this, it's not going to do anything because you haven't actually written anything. And so the next part of what I'm going to do is void foo, and then in parentheses void. And that foo is a placeholder term, and it's just a generic function, and I'm not going to explain in huge detail what it actually does because honestly I haven't learned enough to actually remember it that great. So the next part is you need curly brackets, and right now, I want to make this write something in the output here. So to do that, output debug string a, and then you put your parentheses and then quotations, and then just write whatever you want in there. And then what you need to do after that is you need to do /n, and make sure you've got it going that direction, because / going the other direction means something else, and then you're gonna get it all confused. And then semicolon, which is very important because otherwise it kind of just smashes this and it gets it mixed up with the next line and doesn't do what you want at all. So the next part is, so to make this work with Windows, you need to use win main, because otherwise it's not going to know what is happening here. So the way that works is int, which stands for integer, and then callback win main, then a parentheses, then I'm on the next line because it makes it more organized. I don't think you actually have to make it on the next line. Like you don't have to have the spaces in here. You can make this all on the same line if you want, but then it's gonna be all muddled up. I don't want to look at all that. Okay, so now each instance, which I like to say as hinstance because that's what it looks like. So anyway, then that again with different capital letters for I don't remember why. Then you need a comma. Comma is very important because then otherwise it gets confused and it really wants you to write a comma in there. So hinstance, then h priv instance, comma again, lpstr. I don't remember what that stands for, but if you put all this in there, it's hopefully going to work. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna show you how to figure that out in a minute. Command LP command line, that's what that stands for. And then comma again, because I almost forgot to put that in there. And then int again in command show parentheses to close that off, and then to finish this whole thing off you're gonna need curly braces again, then foo again, and just don't put anything in there, and you've got to have a semicolon at the end. And so hopefully it's going to say down here no issues found, and then you can push up here, this little arrow here, or you can click on your keyboard F5, and that's going to run it, and then you're going to get to some words in the output window here. See, it says it started, and it will also say down here ready. That means it's going. And oh, it says there's errors. Now what did I type wrong here? Let's see here. Oh, okay, so probably the reason why I'm having errors is you're probably also going to have an error, because this is the error that I was going to warn you about, because I do not have my settings set up properly. So the problem here is that in the project you need to go down to properties, and that's going to open up this new window, and then down in linker in system, where is system? Here it is. System, right here it says console. It's not supposed to be console. You need to change that to Windows, because otherwise it's not going to know that it's Windows, and then you can't include a Windows thing because it's not understanding that it's going to be Windows. So and if there's also some other things that you need to, in the settings, that you need to make sure you've got in here. It's also under linker in input. Oh, I don't have it either. Under additional dependencies. This is all junk, get rid of that. And in there it needs to be ws2 underscore 32.lib. And that also defines it as Windows 32. And there's also under, let's see, what's that? Oh yes, under general in, oh wait, I think I've done it. Yeah, not under general, under C++, go down to either I've got it in here wrong or I'm looking at the wrong page. Anyway. We're looking for runtime library. That might be under the file instead. Let's see here. For properties for that. Oh yeah, here it is. I think. Nope. Anyway, so while we're in here, oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. In solution, nope, that's also not right. Anyway, theoretically it's going to work. You probably won't have to worry about those. So now if you push F5, it should work because we've got that system thing set to Windows. Yeah, here we go. Now it's gone. You can see how it says ready in red now. And it's opening up all these other things, which I'm going to talk about later in a minute here. Yep, there we go. And here's where it says what I told it to say. So now I'm going to talk about what was appearing over to the side there, and those are important if you want to. Those are pretty much just important if you want to like look at things that are happening, but like I have no idea what I'm doing, so I don't know what is happening, so that's not particularly important to me. So what you're going to do to be able to look at those is you need to put a little red dot over here somewhere, probably near the end, because what this tells the thing to do is to stop here, and not go any farther. So if you put it before this, it's not going to write that anymore. I mean, you can still look at the stuff, but it's not going to write that anymore. So then F5 again, and now what it's going to do is it's going to change this to a little arrow, and it's not going to finish, so it's not going to go back to where this other thing is here. It's going to just keep it here so you can look at all this other great stuff here, which most of which I don't know what does, but I know this is the watch window here. And so if you want to watch an object, like it just said before I made that go away somehow, you can do that, which that means, oh, here we go, add item to watch. That's what it does. So if you have, like, if you're making something which has a lot of little parts that do separate things, like you want one thing to have one number, like if you have a whole bunch of little monsters or something, that's what's happening in your game, and they each do a different amount of damage. You can use this window to see which separate monster, like what they're doing, and you can do it for a lot of other things, but that is just the best example that I could think to explain. And so if you want to get rid of this and go back to what you were doing and be able to do more writing stuff in here, just push continue, and then it will continue the stuff and go back. And you can make this red dot go away if you don't want it anymore, just click it again. And I think that's all I was going to explain, and I'm sorry about the what I was looking for over here, because I did open that all up before I started the video, and I looked at it and I wrote it down, but I don't know why I can't find it anymore. But hopefully you're not going to have a problem with that anyway. It's all that the problem is the linker system subsystem needs to be Windows. Okay, so that is all the things pretty much that I know so far about all this. So I am going to be finished and hopefully make another video later to explain something else. And the next thing I might explain is command prompt, which is very useful. I've got all that going. And Emacs, which is also very difficult. So, okay, bye. Hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.